All right. Hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of the BCI Take Over Show. For those of you who are tuning in, I am your host, Miss Taylor. We are highlighting a special author with us here today. We have author Kisha Prince with us today. How are you, Kisha?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, Kisha, tell us a little bit about yourself, like who you are outside of the author.
Well, I am first and foremost, I'm a mother. Um, I like to think of myself as a child of God because I wouldn't be where I am today without Him.
Mm-hmm.
And I am an author. Um, I've been an author. I've written two books within 2 years.
Okay.
Um, my first book is Keep Pressing Pretty, which I wrote fresh out of being divorced after 17 years of marriage. And
Mm-hmm.
that book kind of chronicles my journey of healing and rebuilding my life after such a life altering moment of
Mm-hmm.
time. And then my second book is called Unleash Your Greatness, which is a journal that helps women. Um, I'm sorry, I keep hearing like feedback. Do you hear feedback?
I don't. What you
Okay.
hear?
I just wanted to make sure. Unleash Your Greatness is a book that I wrote. It's a journal to help women thrive out of trauma, rebuild their lives, and also heal themselves. And it can be any trauma. It can be any thing that you've gone through, whether it's abuse, whether it's a divorce, whether it's grieving. It takes you from childhood all the way up to the present time, and it helps you
Mm-hmm.
process the trauma that you've been through so you can thrive and not just survive.
Okay. So how long have you been writing?
I've been writing for a long time. I actually love writing. Through the process of being going through my divorce, I was journaling at first.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just put all of my writings into a book. Um, and like I said, I called it Keep Pressing Pretty because at that time I had to encourage myself. I had to
Mm-hmm.
let myself know that I was enough, that I was worthy, that I was pretty because I felt so ugly. I felt so um, not worthy. So I had to
Yeah.
reverse my thinking.
Yeah.
And I had to condition my mind to think about what I wanted to be and not where I was. So that's how Keep Pressing Pretty, the book came about, just journaling through the process and just putting all of those things into my book. And the way I came up with Unleash Your Greatness,
Mm-hmm.
which is the book here, um,
Mm-hmm.
it's basically showing women how to write your vision and make it plain. Um,
Okay.
a lot of times we don't know how to actualize and conceptualize what we want for ourselves. And I said the
Mm-hmm.
best way to do that is to write it down because now you can see it and then you
Yeah.
can then hold yourself accountable for what you wrote. So I think journaling is the best way. And in this book, you have affirmations, you
Mm-hmm.
have ways of self care. You have all types of activities. I have a section in there to go from your struggle to you go from struggle to a strategy.
Okay.
So basically, all of us have struggles, right? All of us have
Mm-hmm.
something we're going through, but you don't have to stay in that place. And
Mm-hmm.
I always say, in order for you to get out of your struggle, you have to plan, you have to write things down, you have to really get into the mode of finding solutions because as long as we're staying in a struggling place, that's where we'll be. Or when you actually condition your mind to say, I want to be solution based. I don't want to be
Mm-hmm.
someone that's just stuck, but I want
Right.
to find solutions to get my way out of it. You can do that. But I believe it is so important that you write those things down and you hold yourself to the things that you wrote down.
I like it. I like that. So what would you say would be You might not have a favorite, but if you had to call it a favorite, what would be like your favorite affirmation in your
Um, that's a good question. I
journal?
have several affirmations in this book, but I would say my favorite is the one in the beginning, and it says, I am my greatest and most precious asset. What I invest in myself will give me my greatest return.
Mm,
And I believe that you have to have that attitude because everything starts with you. And in
yeah.
order for you to give out, you're going to have to make sure that whatever you're depositing in yourself is
Mhm.
um, is strengthened, it is structured, it has a good foundation because you can't be any good to anyone else if you're not good to yourself. So you
That's
have
true.
to invest, you have to deposit the things that you want to be able to withdraw one day to give to somebody else. So yes, you are your greatest asset.
So what does that look like? Depositing something into yourself in order for you to give. Like, I hear it all the time, right? But what does that actually look like?
What that looks like is every day you're pouring into yourself positivity. You're not
Mhm.
believing because you always have there, in the cartoons you have the devil here and the angel here.
Mhm.
In your subconscious, there's always a fight. There's always a tug of war, you know, between what you can do and what you can't do. And
Yeah.
so a lot of times we're constantly fighting ourselves. We're battling self-talk, that negative self-talk. You
Mhm.
going to do something, it's like, do you really want to do that? You think
Yep.
you can do that? Right. So
Mhm.
as long as you're depositing positive things and you're depositing those affirmations and you're giving yourself that self-care and you're believing in yourself, regardless of what other people are telling you, regardless of how they think of you, it starts with you. So you have to build yourself up,
Mhm.
every single day. When I was going through my divorce, I had to tell myself, baby, you're okay. You're beautiful.
Yeah.
You're going to get out of this. Trouble don't last always. And I'm looking in the mirror telling
Mhm.
myself this because everything around me was trying to pull me down. Everything around me was trying to pull me mentally,
Mm.
emotionally, was trying to drag me down. But I had to be very intentional about what I spoke over myself. You are
Yeah.
more than a conqueror. You can do anything you set your mind to. I had to constantly tell myself that. So I think just what that looks like is building yourself up, you know,
Mhm.
listening to things. Sometimes you have to turn the music off and turn on, um, motivational speakers,
Yeah.
every day. You have to doctrinate yourself because the world around you can be a very negative place, right? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
your
Mhm.
positivity and your buildup has to start within because a lot of times we're looking for a mate to do it. We're looking for our
Mhm.
parents to do it. We're looking for family members to do it. We're looking for friends to do it, but it's not their job to build you up. Your self esteem belongs to you. It's called
Right.
self esteem. So that means that you are the regulator, you are the person in control of that. So you have
Mhm.
to constantly encourage yourself, empower yourself, to get yourself in a constant state of mind that I can do. Now I can't, but I can.
Yeah. Sure. 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 Are you like a life coach, a motivational speaker,
Actually, I am a divorce coach.
a divorce?
So I do help people strategize out of the struggle of getting their mind prepped for who they want to be and not where they are. So I work on your future self because if you look in the mirror and you see where you are now, you'll never
Mhm.
believe in what you can become. And so I work
Mm.
on the person that you're trying to become. So I'm busy feeding that person. I'm busy feeding that person. So I would consider myself a motivational speaker, yes.
Absolutely. A divorce coach. That's different. That's interesting. How do you coach someone through divorce?
Well, first of all, I always tell people, where do you want to be? Where do you want to go from here? We know where
Mhm.
you are, right?
Yeah.
But I want to focus on where do you want to see yourself maybe in 5, maybe in 10 years. We
Yeah.
set goals, we set a plan. we actually strategize out of the place that you are. So I give you different tools, I give you different resources, I give you um, basically the motivation to
Mhm.
step out of where you are into where you want to be.
Got you. Got you. So what would you say would be one of your or a couple of your top issues maybe some of your clients have, especially coming from divorce? I come from divorced parents from 20 some years, right? And one of I can remember my mom's major thing was being able to financially take care of herself because she didn't have to, and us. Would you say that would be kind of one of people's top common fear or struggle after divorce?
I would say, first of all, you have to condition your mind
Mm.
because you've dedicated so much of your time and yourself to a person. So that means
Mhm.
a lot of times you have put yourself at the back burner because
Mhm.
you dedicated yourself to your kids, you dedicated yourself to your husband. So now you have to get to the place where it's just you. So you
Yeah.
have to figure out what you like. You got to figure out what you want. So we go through that first. I think
Mhm.
the biggest thing is building your self esteem, building
Okay.
you up to know that yes, you were, with a person and you might have been with that person for so long, but that person
Mhm.
did not define who you are. You have
Right.
agency, you have your own autonomy. That means you
Yeah.
have your voice. A lot of times our voice gets buried under everything we went through, right?
Mhm.
And so now it is my job to help you find your voice. What does that sound like? What are you telling yourself when you say, okay, should I make this decision or no? Because you're always in your marriage, you had to make the decision with somebody else. Now you have to stay
Right.
strong in yourself to make it on your own, right?
Mhm.
So now I'm
Mhm.
helping you to reclaim your voice and know that your voice is just as important as it was when you were with somebody else and you had to make it with that person. So I think it's so important for us to build ourselves up
Mhm.
to self care because it's almost like being in a fight. You going
Mhm.
out in the ring and you fighting every day, and
Mhm.
you don't get time. Life does not give us time to reprieve, to say,
Mhm.
let me collect my thoughts. Let me think about some things. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Let me focus on myself. It's okay to
Yeah.
focus on yourself, right? Even if you have children, your children are your priority, but in order for you to
Yeah.
give them your best self, you have to work on yourself,
Mhm.
right? So you
Absolutely.
might have to put them to bed early to kind of get some downtime. Say, babies, you got to take your showers, you got to eat your dinner, and you got to go to bed because
Mhm.
mommy needs some time, right? Or
Yeah.
you might wake up a couple of hours early to get that exercise in or to get that meditation in. All of those things are so important when you're trying to bounce back from divorce.
Mhm. Got you. Got you. So where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now, wow, actually, I see myself, um, I really want to be a mental health counselor, professional
Okay.
mental health counselor for families because I seen the devastation that happened to my family when we went through what we went through as far as divorce.
Mhm.
Divorce does not just affect the two people that's in it, but it affects the entire family, even the cat and
Mhm.
dog. Okay, because they got to go somewhere.
Right.
But just to help families work through their issues and get to a place where they don't hate each other, but they can be amicable, they can be at a good place and
Yeah.
respect one another. So
Yeah.
that's where I see myself. And I also see myself writing more books. I have
Mhm.
a novel that I'm trying to complete. It is really juicy. But yeah, I see myself just, thriving, and I don't believe in survival. I believe in
Mhm.
thriving. And I believe you can do that while you're healing. I believe
Mhm.
you can do that while you're picking up the pieces from your life. but it's all in your mindset. It's all
Yeah.
about how you view yourself. When you look in the mirror every day, you have to be accountable about what you think about yourself.
Mhm.
And so when I look in the mirror every day, I look at somebody who did not let their circumstances dictate their future. I'm looking at a person that did not settle for survival, but declared that I will not only survive, but I will thrive in this season. I will thrive beyond my circumstances. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. So, author Keisha, how can people purchase your books and how can they follow you on your social media?
Well, you can purchase my book on Amazon.com or you can go to KeishaPrince.com. Um,
Mhm.
This is the copy of Unleash Your Greatness. I also, like I mentioned before, my first book is called Keep Pressing Pretty, My Healing
Mhm.
Journey After Divorce. But that book actually can be used for any type of circumstance. I mean, not just divorce, it can be for any type of obstacle that you're trying to overcome. That book is
Mhm.
encouraging. It helps you go from victimhood to victorious. It helps you go from being traumatized to triumphant. So, all of the books are available again on Amazon.com or
Mhm.
KeishaPrince.com. Social medias on Instagram is Keep Pressing Pretty, and on Facebook it is author Keisha Prince. So, yeah, I would love to connect with all of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you, author Keisha, for being a guest on the show today. Everybody else, y'all make sure y'all continue to tune in to Total Entertainment Radio by going to our Facebook, Total Entertainment Radio, our Instagram, Total ENT Radio underscore, and listening to the station by going to www.totalencradio.com. Hit that TER radio button. You can listen to Total Praise Radio. You can hit the Total Praise Radio button if you feel like getting the praise on for the day. We have it all here. Thank you all for Keisha once again. Until next time, everybody, we're done. We're out.
Thank you, Kayla. I appreciate you having
You're
me on.
welcome. No problem. Talk to you soon.
Okay, have a good one.
You too.